Tantor Audio, a division of Recorded Books, presents Calming Your Angry Mind: How Mindfulness and Compassion Can Free You from Anger and Bring Peace to Your Life, by Jeffrey Brantley, M.D. Foreword by Barbara L. Fredrickson. Narrated by William Sarris. Foreword. You have in Dr. Jeffrey Brantley's latest book a profoundly useful and accessible approach to improving your day-to-day life experiences. Here, you can learn and practice simple techniques that will improve your health and your relationships, and perhaps most importantly, provide you with everyday peace of mind. Anger is something everyone experiences. Indeed, feeling irritated, annoyed, or even outraged is an unavoidable fact of being human. It is vital to know, though, that anger comes with its own blinders and rigid beliefs. It narrows your thinking and pulls you into the blame game. Anger also covers its tracks by making you absolutely certain that your view of the offending situation is 100% correct. Making matters worse, any emotion that you feel in this moment slyly works to increase the odds that you'll feel that same emotion in the next moment. With all the insidious ways that anger can control your mind, you can begin to see how it can come to dominate your days, even your life. Yet, even though anger, like any other negative emotion, is to be expected as a normal human experience, the truth is that you need not become a victim of your anger. Psychological science makes it clear that you can choose not to cultivate or prolong your angry experiences. Anger need not become a lifestyle. Science has cataloged the damage done when this challenging state of mind becomes a person's baseline or first impulse. You can pay a high price in terms of compromised health, strained relationships, and unhappiness. If anger has come to rule you in ways that you no longer appreciate, rest assured, you can change. This book can help. Drawing equally on ancient wisdom traditions and 21st century scientific breakthroughs, Dr. Brantley skillfully weaves practices for calming your angry mind together with vivid success stories that will inspire you to achieve the changes you seek. You will learn core practices of mindfulness and compassion, plus how and when to deploy them. You will gain wisdom and insight into your own inner workings. You will learn to curb your angry and other negative feelings in ways that will allow you to find more joy, more connection, and more meaning in your days. You will pave the way toward flourishing. Congratulations on taking the first step toward understanding your mind and your anger. I wish you every success as you absorb and put into practice the deep wisdom that Dr. Brantley offers here. Barbara L. Fredrickson, Ph.D., Keenan Distinguished Professor of Psychology, University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill, author of Positivity and Love 2.0. Introduction. Do you ever get tired of being angry? Do you ever feel weary from the edginess and dreariness that insistent judgments and blaming thoughts bring into your relationships and into your daily life? Have you ever become concerned about the impact that your irritable and mean words and actions have on others? If your answer to any of those questions is yes, then this book might help you. Do you ever wish your life could be happier, or wonder if you might be much more as a human being than you feel you are in the burning heat of angry moments? Have you ever wished that your friendlier, wiser, calmer, and better self would more often appear and guide you in your relationships with your loved ones, interactions with coworkers, and your encounters with the joys and challenges of living every day? If your answer to any of those questions is yes, then perhaps this book can help with that too. This is a simple book for ordinary people, and it could be useful in every day of your life. This book is about anger and you, And more importantly, it is about discovering and using the power you already have to change your relationship to anger in any of its many forms and expressions. By learning to free yourself from anger's grip, you can immediately transform your life and feel greater ease and more happiness more often. You may also be surprised to discover new dimensions of kindness, understanding, and love for yourself and others. Your innate power to change is based in mindfulness, which is another name for awareness. Mindfulness is an energy and quality that all human beings are capable of touching because it is based in our basic human intelligence and is informed by our already present potential for goodness, including our capacity for kindness and compassion. In calming your angry mind, you will learn practical ways to grow your mindfulness and how to rely on it to manage anger and other painful emotions as well as the stress of daily life. You will also find helpful information about mindfulness, anger, and their impact on your health, as well as easy-to-follow instructions for a variety of simple meditations and reflective practices that you can use every day to reclaim your life from the toxic power of anger. The information and meditation practices you will find here are grounded in knowledge and understanding that comes from modern science, psychology, and ancient wisdom about mindfulness, meditation, health, and how your mind and body operate. This accumulated body of knowledge points to benefits that follow from mindfulness meditation, including deepening awareness and insight and helping you become more compassionate, kind, and loving. You need no special training or previous experience to take advantage of what is in this book, and you don't have to adopt any particular belief system or hold a unique spiritual or religious view. All that you need to get started is to be interested in doing what you can to help yourself be happier and healthier. Through this book and the meditation practices of mindfulness, compassion, and wise understanding it contains, I invite you on a unique journey. On this journey, you'll explore the ever-unfolding present moment of your life and learn to see it with new eyes. You may also discover that by mindfully embracing your journey through each and every moment, you come home to yourself and truly connect with your most reliable source for creating more satisfying relationships and experiencing a rich and joyful life. So, if you would like to discover more about yourself and your anger, and learn how not only to gain better control of your anger, but also to function more effectively as a force for good for yourself, for others, and for this world, then listen on. The nature of anger. Feelings of anger or tolerance, intense emotions like hatred or love, intentions to make war or to make peace, whatever the feeling, thought, or action, it lives and dies inside each one of us as a response in each human heart to something we feel or think, or as a reaction to someone or something around us. Whether or not the emotion is sustained or grows or fades and dies depends in large part to how we treat, consciously or unconsciously, the reactive stream of thoughts and emotions that unfolds within and flows constantly through the present moment of our lives. It's true for all of us. Something happens. A car cuts us off on the freeway. A colleague makes a thoughtless remark. A friend sends a kind note. And suddenly a feeling or an emotion rises up inside us. It could be blame or gratitude, judgment or acceptance, and even feelings of boredom or of interest and engagement. The amazing range of human feelings and emotions begins with some event, a sound, a sensation, or a thought, for example, which then triggers a reaction in mind and body. The emotions can come and go very quickly, or they can linger. How we relate to the emotion makes all the difference in whether they will linger or fade away within us. The emotion of anger is also like this. How angry you feel, or how angry you become in response to any given experience, even whether you become angry at all, it all depends on what happens inside you, what bodily sensations you feel, and what you think. Perhaps you have had the experience of anger or related feelings such as blaming, judgment, irritation, or rage taking over your life for a moment or much longer. What did that feel like in your body? What were your thoughts telling you then? Perhaps someone has told you that anger has become a problem for you, at work, as a health issue, in a relationship, or in some other way. Have you been aware of the anger inside of you? Or is this surprising news? Or perhaps you have, at some time or another, felt that anger energized you and that it helped you get something you wanted. Possibly only afterward did you realize the pain your anger caused, and maybe even then you dismissed it by saying something about the end justifies the means, or equally likely, perhaps you never noticed or truly realized the depth of harm to others that your anger caused. This is the nature of anger and of being human. It is a complicated and richly poignant experience. At times, anger happens in your awareness. You know you are angry, you know why, and you know how you express your anger. But at other times, anger happens out of awareness. You may not even know that you are angry, much less why or how your anger affects those around you. Anger arises and is expressed through your ongoing flow of thoughts, bodily sensations, and the expression and actions that those thoughts and sensations command. The mental activity and physical reactions that fuel your subjective experience of being angry require a significant amount of energy, too. One might say that the expression burning up with anger points us to the degree of intense energy present in the emotion of anger. And because it takes deeply formed habit patterns of connection and communication among your mind, your brain, and your body to produce and sustain anger, I will often use the expression habit energy to refer to this energetic and habitual perspective on anger and its related feelings. What is your personal, subjective experience when anger visits you in the present moment? Where is it burning you up? Can you feel the anger in your body, your mind, or your relationship? Does anger erode your sense of well-being and belonging in the world? What does this emotion arise in reaction to? Do you feel disrespected, threatened, or vulnerable, perhaps? What relationship do you take to the anger when it comes to you? Do you become angry at the anger, or do you feel that you become the emotion, that you are just an angry person, for example? What if you could become more aware and discover the answers to these questions? When you think about your responses to your emotions, would you like to respond differently? In short, would you like to be a different kind of person? The choice we have about our anger is the same choice we have about so many other aspects of our lives. Will we turn toward our anger and seek to better understand and manage it? Or will we let our habit energy of living, thinking, and acting in anger and from anger dominate our lives, actions, and the impact we have on others and our world? In this book, I invite you to turn toward your anger, learn to understand it, and find healthy ways of managing it. I invite you to dive deeply into your personal experience of emotions, especially anger and its related feelings, by accessing your ability to inhabit the present moment mindfully, to become more aware of what happens in your mind and body as you experience particular emotions, and to relate differently to those emotions. Imagine for a moment that your experience of and behavior around angry feelings could be very different. Imagine that anger, blaming, judgments, irritation, and rage could lessen in intensity and frequency. Imagine that the power anger has in your life and relationships could diminish. Imagine that you could live your life in a way that acknowledges and experiences anger, but that is not limited or distorted by angry feelings or outbursts. That could be a profound transformation and a radically different life. If your anger were less intense and controlling, maybe you would not feel as isolated or alone, or be plagued by second-guessing, or worry about what you have done or need to do because anger hijacked you again. So, How do you get from your life today to the one you just imagined? Mindfulness will help you, and this book will teach you how to use mindfulness to deal with your anger. I frequently teach mindfulness-based stress reduction, MBSR, classes, and I'd like to share one of our core beliefs with you because you may find it helpful. No matter how much a person thinks is wrong with them, we believe there is more right than is wrong. The more right piece has to do with human intelligence, the capacity to learn and to relate to others, and the ability to know ourselves. It also has a lot to do with the basic human capacity for awareness called mindfulness. So let's take a closer look at mindfulness now. What is mindfulness? Mindfulness is something you already have, at least as a potential. When you are mindful, you're aware of what is happening now, in this very moment, without judging or getting lost in the thoughts and plans about fixing or changing anything. Mindfulness does not do anything. It simply notices without judgment. You can think of mindfulness as a mirror that accurately reflects what appears before it. Mindfulness sees clearly what is present. That is what makes being mindful so important if you want to know what is happening inside your mind and body as well as in the world around you. You can also think of mindfulness as a talent, like musical ability. Your ability is innate, it is already there. But for the talent to bloom fully, you have to develop certain skills with your instrument, and you have to practice. This book will introduce the basic mindfulness skills and offer helpful guidance for practicing those skills. Human beings have literally been practicing mindfulness for thousands of years and have amassed an enormous amount of wisdom about meditation practice and mindfulness. You will be able to draw on this wisdom as you take up the meditations and reflective practices in this book. You will join an ancient tradition of those who seek to cultivate and nurture awareness centered in the present moment. And as you practice mindfulness, you will also become a scientist, because the ancient traditions of mindfulness and meditation are now being embraced and explored by modern science in fascinating and almost unimaginable ways. Let's take a brief look at what science is learning about the brain, stress, and health, and their relationship to anger. Neuroscience, stress, and health. Your brain changes depending on how you use your mind. This is the conclusion of a revolution in brain and medical science over the past several decades. The name for this dynamic and plastic quality of your living brain is neuroplasticity. The implications for having a neuroplastic brain are enormous. For example, the mental activities that you deliberately choose, for instance, a positive activity like saying thank you or reminding yourself to be grateful or count your blessings, will result in a stronger brain basis for that activity over time and increase the likelihood that those thoughts and feelings will re-emerge. And similarly, because the habit energy of familiar mind patterns is so strong, those patterns associated with feelings like chronic anger, frustration, scorn, and criticism can easily fire. When that happens, they can, in the present moment, evoke within you the energy of deeply held personal views, inner stories, or old memories, any of which can quickly hijack you and drive you into unexpected behaviors. Anger in its many forms can be like this, an old habit energy suddenly appearing in the present moment with alarming intensity. Given the reality of neuroplasticity, this raises two important questions. Do you practice being angry? What would happen if you practiced being mindful? The way you use your mind changes your brain. In other words, just as you have to exercise your muscles properly in order to stay healthy, and for those muscles to do what you ask them to do, you also have to exercise your brain properly in order to cultivate the qualities that are important to you and to let the ones that are not helpful or constructive fade away. Through the practice of mindfulness, you will have the opportunity to explore your own mind using powerful inner technologies of meditation and reflection. We know now from neuroscientific research that simply using your mind in this contemplative way actually alters how your brain works, and that can have a powerful positive impact by reducing your stress, benefiting your health, and empowering you to better understand and control strong emotions like anger. And if you wish to become less angry and critical and instead become more positive, joyful, kind, and compassionate, then it helps to know your brain can also change in that direction. Modern science and psychology have made fascinating discoveries that align with the spiritual and wisdom teachings encouraging us to nurture our human potential for kindness and compassion. Let's look more closely at the power and intelligence of the human heart, a theme that we will return to many times throughout this book. Human intelligence and goodness of heart. In the popular film Saving Private Ryan, 1998, Ryan, as an old man, visits the grave of a fellow soldier who gave his life to save him during the war. In the scene, Private Ryan pauses and asks the loved ones around him at the gravesite a question. Did I live a good life? What makes a person give his or her life for another? How many times and in how many ways do the acts of others support or even preserve our own lives? Modern psychologists and health scientists have found that we humans are actually wired and evolutionarily selected for our capacity to appreciate connections with one another and to nurture that capacity. We have the potential to be extraordinarily sensitive and present to the experience of our own inner lives and bodies. And asking questions about the good life, as Private Ryan did, is as old as humanity itself. As we shall see throughout this book, the focus on positive experience and feelings can be very good for our health and happiness too. The benefits of positive experience and feelings are actually the basis of a branch of modern psychology known as positive psychology. Much of the science of positive psychology is informed by the work of Barbara Fredrickson. Barbara's work has powerfully demonstrated that practicing meditations based in mindfulness and compassion can help you tap and develop your potential for positive experience, and therefore likely improve your health and well-being over time. As you reflect on these scientific findings, you might recognize a very similar message to the one that spiritual teachers from all traditions, as well as great poets, artists, and writers, have long expressed. As human beings, we possess the capacity and potential for extraordinary wisdom and goodness right here and right now, in this life. The important questions then become this: what does a good life really mean to you? How does it relate to your sources of meaning and purpose and to your deepest values? And what keeps you from realizing the possibility for greater well-being in your life? If you think that the anger in your life interferes with your dream of a good life, then perhaps mindfulness practice and meditation can help you understand and control the anger. Perhaps mindfulness practice and meditation can also help you discover the answers to the questions about what a good life means to you. A mindfulness-based approach to living. In this book, we will explore a mindfulness-based approach to living. That simply means learning to cultivate greater awareness in approaching whatever life brings you. Greater awareness will bring you increased understanding and the ability to manage difficult emotions like anger. The greater awareness that comes from mindfulness practice will also empower you to stay present and connect more deeply with what you value most, as well as offer effective action in the face of challenging situations. In my research for this book, in addition to exploring meditative, medical, and psychological sources, I spoke with experts in anger management who work as therapists, educators, and researchers. I told the experts, you already have some very effective methods for teaching people to better manage their anger and other difficult emotions. Then I asked them a simple question. What do you think are the biggest challenges and obstacles that prevent people from taking advantage of the successful programs you offer? All of the experts gave basically the same answer. They said that the biggest obstacle for people bothered by intense emotional difficulties like anger is that they are not sufficiently aware of those angry feelings and emotions when they are present, and they do not understand the damage that those emotions can cause to their health, relationships, and chances for success and happiness in life. Being more mindful could result in better control in your life in some very important ways. For example, you could learn to recognize and control your anger rather than letting it control you. And you could take more responsibility for your health, enjoy better health, and be happier about the direction you take and the choices you make every day. This mindfulness-based approach to life, including mindfully managing emotions like anger, is also often referred to as contemplative, meditative, or reflective, because it uses your capacity to observe what is happening in the here and now and to know by direct observation instead of just thinking. Just remember how that mirror accurately reflects whatever comes in front of it. Although you may not be aware of it, this way of living mindfully is very likely something you already have experience with. For example, when you go for a walk and notice the color and shape of a beautiful flower or the pattern of clouds moving in the sky, that direct noticing without or before any thoughts is a moment of mindfulness. When you take a sip of cool water and notice the water is colder than you expected, the part of you that knows the direct experience of the coldness is mindfulness. If you choose a mindfulness-based approach to living, it simply means you commit to cultivating mindfulness, direct observation of all experience, more often in the moments and changing situations of your life. Such direct observation is extremely powerful and always informative. For example, you can read dozens of books about apples, but until you take a bite out of one, pay close attention and notice the crispness, the sweetness, and the juiciness, you don't really know the apple. In the MBSR classes, we also say, being informs doing. In other words, if you know clearly what is happening and what is here in this moment, you are more likely to make a better choice for the action you take. For example, let's go back to the apple. After really paying attention to that apple, you might find yourself reaching for another one, or maybe you decide you don't like apples after all. Either way, by paying attention and being with the experience of biting and chewing your apple, you make a better decision about doing something with apples in the future. As we consider anger in all of its forms, as well as the impact it has on your health and all of your relationships, these three basic statements capture the essence of the mindfulness-based approach to living. 1. No matter how intense it is or what results it brings, your anger is not you. It is only a condition or strong energy arising in your mind and body in this moment that results from the temporary coming together of a complex array of other conditions, and it will pass. 2. If you do not fully understand the nature of anger in your life and how it takes control of your life, you will pay a high price in terms of your own health and well-being, as well as in the nature of your relationships and your ultimate degree of satisfaction and happiness in life. 3. According to an intriguing combination of modern neuroscience, health science, and ancient meditative and human wisdom, practicing mindfulness can help you understand and transform not only the emotion and expression of anger in your life, but also the very mind-body foundation that supports anger. This can reduce or eliminate your anger's toxic and out-of-control aspects in the future. As I mentioned earlier, you naturally have the capacity for mindfulness as a human being, and the capacity for being mindful is cultivated and matured by practicing meditation. In the sense we are using it here, the word meditation means simply that you direct your attention in a particular way, for a particular purpose. Yes, the word meditation is often associated with particular religious traditions and groups. Regardless of the faith tradition, if you study the meditation instructions in different traditions and from different teachers, you will probably see that, strictly speaking, Those instructions involve some emphasis on directing attention in a particular way for a particular purpose.
Sample complete. Ready to continue?